Okay, welcome back to Life with Paul M for another episode. Today's episode is going to be about gratitude. What is it? Why is it important? And how do we develop this area even more? As always, I'll try and I will record this in one go, so any mistakes that happen, they're going to be stuck. And if you ever think I'm talking a bit too slow, just turn me up a little bit in speed. I'll never find out. I don't blame you anyway. So, gratitude. If any of you saw my previous episode about a positive mindset, if you've not seen it, check it out. If you have, you'll know I discussed the positive mindset and gratitude. They're literally best friends. They go hand in hand. Because if you can work on both of those, the world in general is going to seem a happier place than it might do otherwise. Gratitude. That gives me a sigh just to think about it. Gratitude for me is an incredibly important word that's become a big part of my life. Why? Because I think if you're grateful for things, and often the smaller things in life, then life can feel very, very different. Personal story. My mum, for example, she got breast cancer when I was about 12, and thankfully she got better. For another 20 years, I had 20 years with my beautiful, lovely mum. And then time caught up with her. She got cancer again and she moved upstairs and got her angel wings. And now she looks after me, smiling down from above and around me. My point to the story is, I look at that I got 20 years extra with my mum. You know, sometimes people get cancer once and they're done, sadly. My mum got 20 more years, almost a second chance at life. And it gave me another 20 years to be with my mum. So rather than feeling, oh, I lost my mum, I've not got a mum, I got 20 years for free. Similar, my dad, he passed away a few years ago. But I looked at it that I got my dad until he was in his 80s. He got time with my granddaughter. My granddaughter's got time with him. I'm really thankful. So sometimes it's the same situation in life, but what are you actually thankful for? A lot of us, we often only feel grateful when something really brilliant happens. We're thankful for moving to a new house, new car, going on holiday, getting a pay rise, whatever it might be. And we're thankful for it. But if you can work on being thankful and have gratitude for the small things in life, all of a sudden the things that we often take for granted, they're not as important anymore. I remember 3 years ago when my dad, I got the call from the hospital saying he had terminal cancer. And the minutes leading up to that call, I've got work and stress and everything's going through my head and everything's got to be done and everything's important. All of a sudden I took that call. Hello, yeah, your dad's got cancer. I'm like, okay, but surely can we get him better? No, that's it. Surely, come on, there must be some sort of chance. No, that's it. Type conversation. My world came to a stop and everything that was important to me right then didn't have any importance anymore. Bit similar when, have you ever been to a funeral and we go there and we meet people and we obviously feel very sorry for the occasion, and sometimes we say to ourselves or other people, oh, life's too short, what's it about? And we are so lucky. But then often by the time people have got back home, they've forgotten all about this change of perspective and mindset and they've gone back to the normal things that are important but not so important, and we lose track of it. You know, if anybody ever gets any bad news, whether it's for yourself or somebody close to you, again, time stands still. We shouldn't have to go through these moments in life of hitting difficult times to think, okay, let's smell the roses of life. Let's appreciate how lucky we are. I have a gratitude kind of practice every morning. So as I'm waking up, often anxiety and depression, it kicks in very early in the morning as you're waking up. So before my mind goes into overdrive, I like to start as my eyes are still maybe shut, and I'll say, thank you for another day. Thank you for my fingers, my toes, my voice. Otherwise you won't be able to hear me unless you've got me on subtitles. I'm just being thankful for the tiny, tiny little things in life. I also say I'm thankful for my past. I'm thankful for my present. And I'm thankful for the opportunities that lie ahead in life. I'm thankful for all the great people I've met in my life and for those people I've not yet met. And already you feel a bit more better equipped. So when life happened and you get that email, you get that phone call, you open that letter, somebody's, pushing your buttons, you're already better equipped to handle what comes your way because you've already decided and acknowledged consciously what's most important. Gratitude has helped me massively along with mindset. There's a song, always look on the bright side of life, and things can only get better, and don't worry, be happy, like a jukebox. But the meaning of all of these songs is no matter where you are, let's think about where you could be and that things will get better. For example, let's say you look up in the sky and you see a cloud and the sun's behind it. The cloud always moves by eventually, even when you live in England. So it's about having trust and belief in the process, and knowing that whatever moment you're in, the minute, it will pass and you'll feel better. If, for example, you look at something that you've been through a really difficult time in your life and you've worked through it, again, part of your mindset, you can think, I've been through difficult situations and I got through them. 3 years ago, I was going through a really difficult time all at the same time. I had a failing business. My dad passed away. I went through a divorce that I didn't want to go through, particularly because, the impact it can have on children. So all of this was going on at the same time. ADHD, anxiety, not sleeping very well. It was a tricky time, but one of the things that got me through it was gratitude, being thankful. What am I thankful for? Thinking of the basics that you're thankful for. So when you can lean on that, often the perspective of other things in life aren't going to be as bad as they feel. So how do you build up a gratitude routine? Well, it's like anything else, getting in good habits. It doesn't happen overnight, a bit like the mindset doesn't happen overnight, but you can build on it every day. So it's acknowledging in the morning how thankful and fortunate you are. Because remember, your worst day today might be somebody else's best day. They would only wish that they had your challenges and problems and stresses. And I understand life's relative, but sometimes you need a reality check of where we're at. So it's being thankful in the morning. I also try and be thankful at night. Sometimes I write down in a little book or in my phone, what's 3 things that I'm thankful for today? And then even what's 3 things that I'm proud of today? People don't want to hear when you're happy and proud of yourself. They'd rather hear sometimes when things aren't going your way. So just remind yourself, what have you done today that was actually really good? It could have been minor things, getting somewhere on time, being more present, and not being on your phone, how you handled a situation, calmer, doing some sort of exercise, reading 5 pages from your book, tidying up your apartment. What are you proud of? But then also, what are you thankful for? Well, I'm thankful that I've got through the day and I feel okay. I'm thankful for the good people that I met today. I'm thankful that tomorrow is a brand new day, we can go again. I'm thankful for the good people in my life. So if you can get into this routine of being mindful with that, there's some great books and audio books and podcasts which I'll pop on here when I'm editing it with images of what to remind what's worked for me. But a couple that spring to mind is a fantastic book called Man's Search for Meaning. And this was a psychologist who was in the concentration camp during World War II, a Jewish psychologist. Left his family, everyone got killed and so forth. And his book, or his audio book, you think would be so depressing and downbeat and everything. And to be honest, his book in general was so uplifting. Because here was somebody that was stuck in a concentration camp, fearing for his life every single day, seeing people around him dying, not knowing if he'll ever see his loved ones again. But his mindset and his gratitude for even where he was, he had gratitude, helped get him through it. Another fantastic audio book recently. There's a beautiful soul called Lindsay Burrows, who was married to Rob Burrows, the rugby league star. And if you don't know his story, look him up and look up Lindsay's book. And she writes this most tear-jerking memoir of her husband who got motor neuron disease, I think it's called. It debilitates your muscles and eventually everything shuts down. It's a really, cruel way to go. That's over a period of time, over a few years. And the way that she wrote about it, from finding out that he got this disease all the way through with their two or three young children, was just inspiring. It was inspiring despite what was going on, and what was so heartbreaking was her gratitude for the tiniest little things that could have thrown most people under. She kept going, being thankful. So there's loads of way to be uplifted, how to be, thankful. The people that you surround yourself with, look inwardly. Don't put too much emphasis on the flashy, outside, materialistic milestones, because then if we do that, we're going to spend most of our life chasing those milestones that we might or might not get. And often when we do get them, they don't keep us satisfied for very long because we're pushing on. Be ambitious, but be content. Have inner peace. And all of these words would have sounded crazy to me a few years ago, but these words are worth money in the bank. So gratitude, what does it mean to you? Let me know in the comments. What does gratitude mean to you? Do you have a particular practice of what your daily rituals are like? Have you got any questions? What have you thought about the episode? And I think that's enough. I've had enough of listening to myself, so I don't know about you. But thank you so much for tuning in. Gratitude, positive mindset. If you can work on those two together, trust me, life will seem even greater, even more beautiful, even more hopeful than it is for you right now. Life with Paul M. Thank you very much.